We are recording. Welcome to Roundtable 55. This is our weekly event, same time every Tuesday, where we recap the previous week and our plans for the coming week. After we're done, we'll endeavour to answer any questions you may have. This whole event will be on YouTube shortly after for you to listen to or catch up if you couldn't attend. Links to this are going to be in general. I think they pop up there automatically, and I will pop one in the news channel for you as well for your convenience. Thank you for joining. So let's crack on. We've got lots of stuff this week. So we'll start with the general news. General chat is now being recorded. Say hi to you. There you go. We know the drill now. Weekly maintenance is at 9 AM tomorrow, Wednesday, UK, as usual. There may be a slightly extended downtime depending on how long it takes us tomorrow. We've got some extra stuff to do on the cleaning side of things, making sure we're all purged ready for Field Jar on Sunday. The big thing we were going to talk about this week then is a rearrangement to our subscriptions and supporter ranks. So we've had some feedback from a few people on the cluster about some sort of discount for multiple subs for different games. We've got the multi-packs, or the multi-pass packs, which at the moment give access to all games but are more expensive. Due to feedback, we realise some people can't afford to do that. And I think the way we've done things in the past has had to do a lot with how what we've got available to us, yeah? And we wanted to make some changes. So, do you want to elaborate a bit more?
Yes, I would like to elaborate a little bit more. So what we were thinking was, well, I kind of looked at it from my own personal point of view to start with. And I was thinking, when I make a choice about committing to something or supporting something or even paying for a service like Netflix or Disney or whatever, I kind of look at it and I go, right, what am I doing at the moment? Okay, I'll subscribe to that or I'll support that. Then when I stop doing it, I'm kind of like, okay, I want to do this other thing. So I then cancel that one and sign up a different one. And I move between things as and when I need them, which kind of is, from our perspective, is a waste of everybody's time. And kind of just makes things overly complex. So the idea that we came up with is, well, why don't we just have 3 supporter ranks on the website? Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. They give you access to all the appropriate tier benefits in all the games that we host. And then on top of that, we also want to add in some, not temporary, but some other games that we know people are interested in. We know they want to play, but that would be a benefit to have access to a private server for supporters only. So, for example, you bought a Tier 1 supporter rank, you get access to all the Tier 1 perks on Arc, you get access to all the Tier 1 perks on 7 days, and obviously when we launch Rust as well, you get access to all the Tier 1 perks on Rust, so you wouldn't have to make the decision of, oh, what do I want to play this month? You could play everything. You could play one of them, you could play all 3 of them. And then on top of that, the top tier supporters as well would get access to our private servers, which would be for stuff like Project Zomboid or Valheim or even Conan or Space Engineers or Imperium, whatever we happen to kind of like throw up at the time and have sitting in the background that people could join and play and just generally chill out on. So what are the thoughts about that?
Yes, Space Engineers was mentioned as well.
Yeah, totally. We've run Space Engineers servers before, but these private servers for the supporters, we were thinking of making them only accessible to Tier 1 supporters because, yeah, it's time we've got to put aside to spin up the server. But these servers, again, would be primarily the features and mods and all the stuff that's on them would primarily be driven by the supporters, like we do for the supporter server for 7 days. It's like, what do you guys want? Okay, here you go, have it. All the supporters that play on the server kind of vote on what they want, and they get it.
Yeah.
But these servers wouldn't be managed in the same way that we manage Arc and 7 Days and Rust would be. They would be like, here's the server, you can play on it. If you break it, we're not going to rush to fix it, or we might just reset it, or it's kind of like, up to you guys to manage it. The theory behind that is you guys are supporting us, you're effectively paying for access to these private servers, so in theory you should be a bit more responsible with them. Yes, Dino. That was our idea.
It
So
was,
it
yeah.
kind of removes all the individual supporter ranks, gives you access to everything that you currently have access to, and makes life just a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah. It also means if you want to try some of the other games, you can do. You get to keep your perks, and I think it's going to be a lot better for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you're playing on Arc for like 6 months or whatever, and you say, "Oh, okay, I want to try 7 days," you can pop over to 7 days, safe in the knowledge that your base won't decay on Arc because you haven't got a supporter rank there anymore because you shifted it over to 7 days.
All good.
So I don't see any massive objections to that, apart from Dino going, no, 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 no.
He just doesn't like responsibility.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, quickie. We have supporter ranks for each of the individual games that we host, and then we sometimes run up a supporter server for that individual game. There is a pack which gives you supporter ranks on everything, but yeah, it's just not something that's utilized massively.
I mean, as for Despair's question, yes, completely open to suggestions on games, so long as there are people wanting to play.
Yeah. And obviously, it supports a dedicated server.
Yes, the only two requirements really is you can get some people who want to play it, and we can run a daddy for it. It opens
As,
things up massively, and this is the knock-on effect of the GameBridge software we've had. Well, it's still being developed in the background. It's opening many more ways we can
so
do things.
the primary reason we can do this now is because we can deliver perks on multiple game platforms all at once,
Yeah,
and manage those perks and access to the games through that system. So it just makes things a lot easier for us in that regard.
yeah. I think we're going to have to come up with some sort of way of allowing suggestions for games to go through discussions and all that sort of stuff. But that's stuff we can do fairly easily.
Well, I think that then comes down to we have a supporters lounge,
Yeah,
which are only accessible to people who are supporting, and then within that lounge, they can then talk about what they want to do with the supporter servers and stuff like that.
voting may come down to yes. That we can do.
You just might have to bite the bullet and go PayPal Despair. Hey, I could set up Bitcoin. It's not shady at all, but the price fluctuates so much in that it's ridiculous.
That's actually a good question, Savage, as well. What we discussed this morning was those who are already subbed, no change. So long as you're subbed, you get to keep your old prices. We may have to look at slightly altering prices, especially I think on the lower tier of things. Not necessarily the higher, but the lower tier of things is extremely cheap at the moment. And at the end of the day, we have to pay for the servers, but it'll be reviewed and looked at. Nothing set in stone yet, but those who have been loyal for quite a while, I'm guessing, so long as you keep your subs running and stuff, we will allow the prices to stay the same, I would say.
Yeah, so just to confirm that then, whatever you're currently paying now as a supporter, that will not change. So if you keep that running, that's not going to go up. Make that commitment to you now.
Totally.
So I suppose there's two things there then. We may see a rush of people who just want to support and play one game, who will just take the packages that we have at the moment and use them. Then when we put the new ones on the site that cover absolutely everything, then we may see people moving over to those. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's up to them. Make that choice. No, I don't see a problem with running them concurrently. If people really wanted to do that. But I also don't see the point. But yeah.
Also, good point from Zero there. The prices are going up at the moment. They're going up massively, but it doesn't mean that we're going to have to pass them on where we don't want to. We understand prices are going up and they're going up here as well. We feel the pinch too. So this is where some of this came from, that we know people can't keep dropping subs on multiple games. So hopefully this makes life a little bit easier on everybody involved, I think.
But yeah, pricing wise, we haven't put anything in stone. But like Nani says, I think that the bottom tier one may go up. Top tier one probably stay where it is. Middle tier open for review. But yeah, all the existing supporter packs will still be there, so it won't be a problem.
Cool, yeah. So that's the big stuff that we wanted everybody here for. We appreciate the fact you've all been here for so long and people have sort of supported us for ages now. So, what the heck is going off in general? I'm not a commodity, you know. You know this.
Huh?
Cool. So that's general stuff for this week then. We've also got a ton of stuff to cover on both of the big games we've got. So let's crack on with some ARC news then, yeah. So the foremost and biggest thing we need to iterate before Sunday hits is Fjordjaw. So as many of you know, and if you don't, Fjordjaw should hopefully now be launching on the 12th, which is this coming Sunday. We will be ready to go. We've got time allotted to do that. We'll be closing down the modded Fjordjaw map and replacing it with the official. So yes, the map that is there at the moment will close, will be wiped. If you've not moved any relevant stuff by Sunday, you are going to lose it. There's no coming back from that. There's been warnings going out now for at least a month, easily. In-game warnings too if you live on Fjordjaw. The rumoured time they're going to drop, it worked out in UK time, would be 9 PM UK on Sunday the 12th. But obviously, the way Wildcard usually do things is the Deddy server for unofficials usually drops slightly after the officials. So I'm not saying it's going to be 9 o'clock on the head. It'll be somewhere around that time. Obviously, there's definitely... Hang on a minute. No. I'm not taking that. I'm not. You've had plenty of time. You're just causing trouble now. So Sunday, walk the pets, get the snacks in, make sure you got plenty of coffee, and it is go time, hopefully.
So we'll probably take down the Fjordjaw map during the day.
Yeah.
Then we'll prep the config changes and be ready to bring it up as soon as the official map goes live.
Yeah. We've been saying for some time now as well that anybody who has main bases on Fjordjaw will be given slightly earlier access to go and claim their spots. If you do have a main base on Fjordjaw and you want to take us up on that, there's obviously going to be a lot of stuff going on Sunday. So please reach out and let us know.
Actually, please don't.
No?
I have a plan for that.
Okay, cool.
So obviously, being the wonderful server admins that we are, we have a list of everybody that accesses the servers and when they were last on the servers and all that wonderful, glorious stuff. So what I will do is I will just grab the list of Steam IDs for everybody that has been on Fjordjaw in the last month, and I will plug those into the exclusive join list. So when we bring the server up, they will be the only people able to access it for a time.
Okay. So obviously the next question is how long do we plan on implementing that time?
Well, if people want to get access to it early, they need to log on to Fjordjaw and build something. A little house, put some structures on there, and you'll be on the whitelist.
Cool.
Uh,
The rush to Fjordjord begins.
yeah, totally.
Cool. So that's Fjordjord out of the way. Sunday, 9 p.m. Get the treats in, walk the dog,
Mhm.
and it's go time. So fun will be
And
had. I plan to be
I
playing some of that.
suppose I didn't answer the question though. How long will we leave it in that state?
Yeah.
Um, Given the criteria for getting early access to Fjordjord to get a land claim down, um, everybody should that wants access should easily get access. Um, so I don't think we'll leave it locked for very long. Maybe till Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, or Monday evening, something like that.
There you go. Have a dog, Sandy. I have a feeling
So,
he's pulling your leg here. Yeah.
so for a reminder on what happens, we're going to run Fjordur the same way that we did Lost Island. You'll be able to transfer onto the map. You'll not be able to take anything with you. You'll be able to take whatever you want off of the map. And how are we going to decide the unlocks? Because we're not 100% sure on what bosses are going to be on there.
No.
So the way we did Lost Island was once the alpha boss for the Lost Island was killed, we then unlocked the map for full transfer.
Yeah.
And that also unlocked the full shop as well. We're not going to modify the loot tables of the bosses on Fjordur. One, because I don't know what their loot containers will be. And two, so that you can actually get some elements and power any tech that you may have to build. So do we have any more questions about Fjordur?
And no, Dino, the shop was not unlocked at the start.
You're talking about element.
Yeah.
We unlocked element early.
Yeah.
Because of the way we implemented that, but then we learned that leaving elements on the bosses was the easier way to go.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a new map. We don't know what's going to happen yet, so we're playing catch up too. So be gentle. And yes, you can definitely dress like Vikings on Fjordur. 100%.
I want lots of pictures of people who find the Mjolnir skin for their hammers or clubs, and the armor sets, and the dinos, and all the various other skins and stuff that's available on Fjordur.
Cool.
No, I don't think we will be putting up a trading post initially. I don't think that's a particularly good idea.
There will in the fullness, but probably not straight away. We'll have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Right, that's enough of that. Moving on then, and related to Pure. So yesterday, DJ did a lot of cleanup on all maps. It's now been set to run automatically. We had a bit of an issue with that, but that's all sorted now. So we cleaned up, what was it, 69,500 structures?
Yes, we did. And to get that number, I had to go through all of our logs and add up all of the structures that got blown up.
Moving to other maps, by the way, Savage, can be done via obelisks or drops. Sky drops that come down will also allow you to transfer maps if you can't get to an obelisk. Obviously, over time, as the bigger bases build up, the transmitters will be there and people will start to team up and get tech going.
You also on all of the maps except for Fjordur, you have a trading post. You can use the command /TP, take you to the trading post, and in every trading post is a city terminal, which will let you transfer off the map as well.
As for uploading stuff, the way it's going to be set up is you go in naked. You can take your character. You can't take any gear in. You can't take any creatures in, nothing. You go in completely naked, you start from scratch on Fjordjaw, build your stuff up again. Leaving, you can take everything with you, but anything you take with you won't be able to come back. So if you get creatures and stuff you want, yes, you can take them away, but get a spare because you won't be able to bring back. It just means that people play the map really fresh. And for those who missed Lost Island, it was much fun. It was absolutely cool. People racing to get boss kills, people being competitive, people helping each other out. It was great. So hopefully we see the same spirit this time, and it's going to be a really cool time. If we did let people, yeah, as Warfare said, if we did let people do that and take everything in, somebody would go in there with like billion level gigas in the first day, and the thing would be dead within inside a minute. It just becomes another map then. We wanted to feel fresh, and like I say, Lost was amazing. I should be doing some playing on Fjordur as well. I've not really touched Fjordur, so I was waiting for the official. It's going to be cool. So yeah, leading up to Fjordur, lots of structures are going to be decayed. As I mentioned earlier, more cleanup's going to be happening tomorrow morning. We've identified some stuff that's from way back, so we're going to do another sweep tomorrow morning. And the aim being, although it takes a little bit longer on the downtime, you're going to have a much smoother experience when it comes to the new maps being coming out. Cool.
Yeah, so like Nani said, we killed off like 69,500 structures across the cluster. That was 107 bases in total got blown up. And I'm just surprised the servers held up as well as they did, with all that stuff hanging around still. And yeah, we've identified more bases that were originally created before we had our decay system in, and they're on the cards for exploding as well. So technically, there's 107 new base locations available across the cluster at the moment.
I think all we know for now, Despair, is it's going to be Fjordjaw. There are 3 new creatures coming, and other than that, we're in as much of a dark place as you are. We don't know. 4 creatures, yeah, okay, 4 creatures coming. We don't know about the boss yet. That's not been announced. They could have changed things. They may not have done. Nekatus is actually on board as well, so I'm kind of hoping that he's going to be batting for his own map and them not cutting it back. I have no idea. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Hoping for great things as their last map. They've hopefully got it right, and they're going to do a really cool stuff with it. So the summary of that is slightly longer downtime tomorrow while we just clean up, but it's going to be well worth it. Has anybody actually been on Gen 2 recently, and have they seen the difference? Has anybody actually noticed any difference on the maps? Yes, Rico? Sandy? Really good, yeah? Excellent. That's what we want to hear then. Awesome.
Well, looking at the list from today, there's still quite a chunk to explode, so I'm looking forward to doing that tomorrow morning. The one thing we did learn that when we are blowing up large bases, you can't actually be watching the base explode, otherwise you cause issues.
As John and Sandy found out firsthand yesterday, yes.
Because the server then has to transfer all that information to any clients within unstasis range of the base. So yeah, that's when it ends up kicking people. Yes, the save intervals on Gen 2 are still going to be problematic for us, because while the size of the map went down from 1 gigabyte to 750 megabytes, I think. Was it 750, honey? I can't remember.
Sorry, I was reading chat. Can you just say that again?
The save size on Gen 2 went down from about a gig to 750 megs, didn't it?
Yes, it started at the gig, went down to about 754 or something.
Yeah.
So huge chunk of that cleaned up, and hopefully more again tomorrow.
Yeah. So a typical map size should be around like islands. All the main storyline maps are around 400 meg, even with tribes all over them.
Yeah.
While we're on that topic, actually, do we want to talk about activity on the servers? Because
yeah, sure.
again, while we were looking through all the data today, we flicked through last login times on the servers and stuff like that, and it's what I don't think anyone really realised this, and we didn't. When you only see like, I don't know, 20 to 30 people online at any one time, but going through all the server activity, there was what in the last 24 hours, I think it was it 25 different tribes active on one map.
Yeah,
And then when you went back to the last, I think it was 7 days, that went up to like 50 odd tribes
yeah,
per map. So we're actually a lot busier than we think we are.
yeah. It's just split around multiple time zones and people coming on and off. And I didn't realize the extent to what we have. We probably got at least 50 active people. And by active, I mean like daily or other daily. We're getting there.
But that was like only on one server though,
Yeah,
and a lot of people kind of stick to their own maps. But if we pulled that all together across multiple servers, I think, well, given there's what was it, 600 tribes on Gen 2, and I think it was somewhere in the region of about 500 on Lost Island. It's quite a significant chunk.
it is. There's way more of you than you think.
Anyways, so moving
Moving on
on,
then.
onwards and upwards.
So more art news then. Obviously the new. Let me get this right. Halicoprion is now active on all maps. It's spawning. I've checked it. It's definitely there. The Hali X, R, and normal variation are all available now on the Arc Shop. Beta will be able to buy the X, Alpha gets the R, and Gamma is allowed to buy the normal. Obviously, they're stackable, so if you're Alpha, you can buy all three. There's going to be a change around of dinosaurs for supporters soon anyway, because if you're just coming, there's going to be 4 new dinosaurs, and that's was always the plan. So those things will roll round to everybody to be able to buy them soon, but they're there if you want them. Then we've got the Halley saddle and the taming food. That should have been in yesterday, right?
Yeah,
I think we've had a restart since then, so they may actually be there now.
yeah, level 91 engrams, the heli saddle, and the rat, I believe, squidgy rat you can make.
Rat biscuits or something?
Yeah, small rat biscuits or something.
Where did they come up with this stuff?
So yeah, you can make your small rat biscuits and feed them to sharks.
Yes. Just be careful you don't get eaten by the Ziff while you're in for the sharks, and all is good.
And
Also,
on that,
go on.
I was going to say, on the note of Ziffs, the population of the Ziffs should be shrinking slightly.
Yes. That was in the patch notes for the collection yesterday.
Yeah.
They're horrible things, and I think he's even realised that they're that horrible. He's culled them back a little bit, so those that were afraid to go back into the water can be slightly less afraid now.
So, good question, Dravros. Sharks being able to make blueprints out of fabricated weapons and armor and other things with their teeth. Oh, the silence. It's not currently enabled. However, that doesn't mean to say it won't be. We are in deep discussion at the moment on how we can provide some of that functionality without returning to what we had when we had the upgrade station on the cluster, and people could just blueprint max level gear willy-nilly, and it kind of made it all worthless. So we will be looking at that. Yeah, it is really nice being able to blueprint things you find. I get that, but at the same time, I also see lots of posts going up in the auction house with pages and pages of Ascendant gear that people are trying to get rid of, and blueprints that they're not using and stuff like that. So as soon as you can blueprint stuff, it totally devalues what people want to sell to other players. So what I think the solution that I came up with, but we were never going to implement because it's too much of a change to Arc, was allow blueprinting of things, but make it so that all the blueprints had limited charges. So they still had value. They would expire and then you need to get some more or make some more or do whatever. But there's some functionality within the Shark to be able to do that, but we need to explore it a little bit more. What I don't want to do is just, one person gets like a 300% shotgun and then suddenly the entire cluster's got a 300% shotgun. At that point, there's no point. People just hand them out like candy. Yeah, the Shark can probably, I think it can make blueprints with limited crafts, and we can select the level of the items it can blueprint. The item would be destroyed in turning it into a blueprint. But then we just have to be careful that we don't get into an endless cycle of you make one, you make the blueprints, you use one of the charges to make another one, you then blueprint that, you then make another item, blueprint that, and before you know it, you've got a stack full of 300 blueprints, which endgame players can do and then completely wreck the market again.
It's a very fine balancing act, and yeah, lots of different divided opinions on it, but it's ongoing.
Yeah, we had that restriction, Dravros, when we had the blueprint maker in before. You couldn't blueprint anything that had crafting skill attached to it, and you couldn't blueprint tech. But tech blueprints already come with charges anyway, so it's stuff we've got to look at.
Yeah, it's brand new, and at the time it dropped, it's easier to deny it first and then implement it the way we want it than it is to let everybody have hold of it and then take it back. You can't take things back.
Yeah,
So
once it gets out there,
yeah,
you're very difficult to reverse. And in fact, I reckon there's still some really high-end blueprints out there that people have held on to from when the cluster first launched.
there absolutely is. There is. I have a good idea where some of them are as well.
Well, I know for a fact we have a full library of pretty much every blueprint at max level sitting in our base.
Not that it gets used a lot, but yes, we do.
Yeah.
But I know there is other stuff out there, and I know where some of them are as well because people like to talk. But it is what it is. Like I say, you can do things with good intentions in the first place, but you can't take them back. So we have to be careful. But still under discussion, and we'll get to that. Obviously, there's some really big things coming up on Sunday. No, Rico, no. Can we put turrets on and a shield?
Oh, we have a shield and we have turrets.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't touch my cupboards. It's all good. Cool. So, Hallies are in. Stuff is on the shop. The saddle is on the shop as well. We've already discussed there's some massive cleanup been done. We know there's going to be more coming tomorrow. So I'm guessing the last thing now for Arc is we are still looking for feedback on how people feel about syncing your in-game Arc names to Discord. So this will mean that your character name in-game becomes your Discord name, helping to identify people, or so was the reasoning behind that. Dojos, please. Again, what do people think? I love the megabyte thing. That's amazing. I mean, it makes things easier for us, but we've also had some players inquiring, like, who's the guy on Discord that goes behind the guy with this name, and I don't know, lots of different ways you can view it. So more feedback on that, please.
And bear in mind that it's only on this Discord. Obviously, it won't change your name anywhere else.
Yeah. Some people are
Accompanying
very,
that would be we would start accepting tickets for name change requests in game.
yeah, exactly, Smallish. That's pretty much where it all came from, was people trying to contact somebody on Discord and they realize the person on Discord has the name that's not in any way related to their in-game name, makes it really hard to find them. And yeah, totally. Unless you're in the know and unless you already have them added and stuff, it becomes quite impossible to find anybody. And we have the same issue, so. But I get that some people are also very, very protective over their names. Hence, I'm guessing you offer the name rechange. So, pick your name in game, get it synced to Discord. I'll just give that a few seconds for that to sink in, and then we'll move on to our next topic of conversation. It is good for server communication, yeah. You could, yes, but that requires them to actually do it. And not everybody will be
I mean,
forthcoming to do that.
Put it this way: everybody that joins the Discord gets a PM on how to get the server information, connection info, linking information, rules, and etc. as soon as they join.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, the first question that they ask is, "What's the server info?"
I think it's just a phenomena now.
Yeah,
People
it's
refuse to read anything.
I was actually something I was talking to Nani about earlier was we're even starting to look at when we put out information on Discord, how long it takes people to read the bit of information we put out and what the average reading age of that information is. Because digesting information is a slow process. Exactly. People don't like to read.
I think
Except
Warfare
when
takes pride in not reading it, though, just so he can ask me. We're on to people.
But even when you give them the information, I've seen people type ArcLink Discord in general chat multiple times, expecting it to immediately link them, not actually reading what pops out in front of them on the screen. But anyway, enough of that side rant.
Yep. Why not record a voice file so when we press F1 it plays in? I love it. That was kind of the idea behind the roundtable in the first place, to be fair. If you don't want to read, just listen to it. It's fine. You can do the hoovering and do your dishes and make some dinner and still listen to it.
Hey, to address the how do you level up on docks, I've just finished today writing the in-game F1 menu for the dock server.
Yay!
So as soon as people join, this thing pops up in front of them and it goes, the first tip is how do you level? Kill dodos and dilos. Oh dear. Zap kindly provided some very good common questions people ask.
Yeah, there's the support going on in the Docs channel and indeed everywhere now is getting really cool. Especially Riku. Riku's being totally helpful. We see these things.
Oh, that'd be really handy, Sol. Thank you.
An audio book.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think R.C. Bray would narrate the book for us.
Wouldn't it be
If
cool?
you don't know, and if you don't know who R.C. Bray is, you need to look him up. He's a great narrator of audiobooks, particularly in the sci-fi and fantasy genres. Oh, and the zombie genres.
He is indeed. I boycotted audiobooks for many, many years because there's nothing like reading a book, but Bray is amazing. It just has one of those voices you can listen to for hours and just... He honestly seems interested in what he's delivering. Yes, a bit like Morgan Freeman. So, moving on a little bit because time's flying. very quick recap back on docs again then. We were asking last week, is it time for a new map? I noticed we've had some new players as well, so obviously some people are going to say no, some people are going to say yes. Are we ready for a change? And we've already said as well about the possibilities of a harder additional server, right?
Yes. So obviously, while I was writing the stuff that people need to read when they join docs today, I was thinking about this, and one of the lines I put in there, we run 2 servers, one on easy settings for like the training wheels, and one for hard, when you want to move on afterwards and think you can hack it. So I think we take a vote on what the new map should be, and that is the hard server.
Sounds good.
So we'll put up we should use straw poll more. We'll put up a straw poll in docs in the docs channel.
Yeah.
And it will include all the maps that docs officially supports, and we will cluster it up with the current map, and I don't see any reason to well, the transfers bit would be the interesting piece. I think we can let people move between the two, no problem. Levels don't matter so much. But I would say we don't allow movement of equipment and dinos.
Yeah. And
Simply because
there's
I'm
also
not sure how the scaling settings would affect it and stuff like that. If you took a top level tame from the easy mode, took it over to the hard mode, I think the scaling settings would turn it into a hard mode top level tame, which would mean you would also be it could be ultra hard. It's
there's also a new ultimate mode now, isn't there?
yes, ultra hard.
Wow. Nice to see people getting opinions on docs now. It's obviously getting a bit more popular. That's all good.
Yeah, I dread to think how docs will work on Gen 2.
What about aberration?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the bosses would fit.
I'm not surprised you can't play docs on Ab. I'm not surprised.
Extinction sounds kind of cool. I really want to bring the center back myself.
If the boats were going to be incorporated as a regular cluster.
No, they won't be. Sorry, Despair. It's a 1.5 gigabyte mod. Slightly more when you unpack it. It won't be.
I think that would just about finish off any work we have managed to do in the past couple of days. And yes, there is going to be, yeah, I can see that happening too. I was sailing my boat and I went through the mesh. Cool. Okay.
So yes, so work in progress for docs, coming shortly. I'll get the F1 menu in, then start configuring the new server. We'll do a straw poll for which map goes on the new server, and we'll also do a straw poll between hard and mega ultra death hard.
Yeah.
But I'm very keen to keep the current server as our kind of training wheels.
I think that's a good plan. Get you used to the torture before the proper torture.
Yeah, completely.
Training wheels in the way that you sort of just get murdered off the bat, kind of training wheels.
Instead
of murdered repeatedly off the bat.
You can die halfway up the beach, not at the waterline.
Awesome. So moving on again then, very quickly for Rust. Continuing to refresh ourselves on config. There's been a lot of changes since we last looked at it properly, so I'm slowly mullering through those and making sure the new features have gone in and stuff like that. We're still very, very close. And we're, in fact, working on Gamebridge not less than 40 minutes ago. So it's last pieces of the puzzle are going in shortly, and Rust is coming, and will be made massively more obtainable now due to the fact that we're changing the supporter pack. So come one, come all, play some Rust. And that moves us on to the 7 days section, which is huge this week. We've got lots of stuff to go on with 7 days. So all the new maps have been created now. Those are ready to go for the wipe on the 13th. The event has gone up for that, so you can keep an eye and track that. We bring the servers down early morning on the 13th. Hopefully I will have them back up. In fact, I'm 100% we should have them back up by that evening. And new maps to go. The maps, as I said last week, we're going to go with the large compo pack map for Darkness Falls. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to go with the event map, which has now been renamed Tula's map, as the seed is based off Tula's name. That's going to be there on vanilla, as people love the event server. So you've got, what, a month, 2 months now to play with that map, because that was highly requested of, can we play that again? Let's run that map. So that's going to come back. Second thing of the day, that we have a large stack mod that we use on the vanilla servers. It's been depreciated now for quite some time and was starting to throw quite a few console errors with the newest build. So I have replaced the large stack mod on vanilla with an equivalent. If you have any problems with that come the wipe, or even now, some notes in the dojo would be useful. Just let us know how you're finding that. If it's not sort of fit for purpose, we can always look at something else, but I think it should be pretty cool, if not better than the one before, slightly larger stacks. Resets. This is another thing I wanted to discuss for 7 days. Lots of new ideas and stuff coming for 7 days. Wanted to discuss resets. At the moment, we reset every 2 months. But I am noticing quite frequently, in fact, every single wipe now, vanilla seems to be dead after about 30 days. So, questions for the dojo again for 7 days. 30-day wipes for vanilla? Thoughts? It seems that most of the population of the vanillas have been completely flat now for at least a month. So maybe 2 month wipes are too long for vanilla. Let me know. Darkness Falls as well. I appreciate Darkness Falls is a lot harder. So again, feedback for Darkness. Ideally, I would like some feedback from the players who are actually going at it like diehard zombie killers, and some of the more casual players as well. I want to get both sides of the argument there, and let me know when you want to see the resets, because at the moment I think they're going on too long, and I think it's hurting the population of the server. Speaking of that, I have had my eye on server population for quite a while now, and we're not blind to see that too many servers are splitting up the player base. I think that's a given now. So no cross chat as well on 7 days. We can't do that. So it means you can't see the other players either. So I think we've come up with a decent solution. Me and John were working on this morning. I did some testing. We've come up with something called Blood Moon immunity injectors. It's working for vanilla, and it seems to also be working for Darkness Falls. So this means we can then condense the servers down to less servers, which means more players are going to be available on your server. You'll be able to see more people, interact with more people, and bring the community a bit closer together. Obviously, the big problem with this is the Blood Moons. At the moment, we've got a vanilla no Blood Moon, and we've got a vanilla Blood Moon server. Same with Darkness Falls, and then we've got the supporter-only server. So what we're going to be looking at doing is essentially getting rid of the no Horde mode servers. So vanilla would have one server, Darkness Falls would have one server, both with hordes, and you would have the supporter server separately. With the new injectors, these are going to be made readily available. I'm going to have a look at the crafting costs. I've been told they're quite cheap. I'm even up for giving them away for free. A command, you get hold of your injector, you inject yourself, it gives you a 20-minute buff. That buff makes you immune to a Horde Night. I've tested this with me being the only person on the server. You take the buff as it comes to midnight, 10 p.m. on the night of the blood moon, you completely get disregarded by the zombies. They will not come to your house. They won't knock on your door. You get to live life like you were playing on the no horde server. But it also means you are playing alongside everybody else, and it brings everybody back together on one server, having fun. Interaction is what it's all about at the end of the day. So more testing is going to go on that, but I think that's the way to go. A lot of people have said we have too many servers, that it splinters the community. Totally agree. But up until now, we haven't found the right way to make both sort of play styles compatible on the same box. But it seems we've got that now.
Personally, I love the idea of having a vanilla server and a Darkness Falls server and giving people the option to opt out of the Blood Moons. I think
Yeah,
it would be much better.
it will. The injectors stack, so you can stack 20-minute buffs on top of each other if you so want, making you completely immune for the hordes. The only thing you do have to worry about is if you're built next door to somebody else, and again, you shouldn't be anyway because it's just rude, you are susceptible to their horde knights if you're too close. They won't come for you directly, but if you walk into the middle of a big wandering horde that's going for somebody else's base, they are going to pay attention to you. So you have to be aware of that. It will also help split the map up a little bit and stop people living on top of one another, I think. But it also gives you...
Unless they want to participate in Horde Nights with
Totally,
that
yeah.
person.
The players who want to play together and who are doing the Blood Moons will continue to do what they do, and the players who don't want to do that get to play with more people as well. It's just different ways of playing. I know some people will skip. I know some people won't. It just brings everybody together, which is, I think, what we're about now, is community, the players having fun together, and, it's always more fun with more people. The last thing to mention on that note, then, I'm very aware that Darkness Falls supports less players than Vanilla. A Vanilla server will hold significantly more people than Darkness Falls, and then Darkness Falls becomes a little bit laggy. Not a problem if we hit that cap. We can always put another Darkness Falls server up, as we're going to be removing two. Obviously, the no horde variants of each. So no problem at all putting it up. If the players are there, we'll split it. We can have two Darkness Falls maps if you so wish. We will always keep the supporter server because that's been very, very popular. I think that's about it from that side of things then. But lots of changes, and want to bring people back together is the issue there. We have been listening. I have been hearing everybody saying it. It was just finding the right way to do it. So again, if you've got feedback on that, let us know. Dojo would be excellent.
And also, with our idea around combining all the supporter perks into one,
Yeah.
It means that anybody that's got an ARC supporter rank will then be able to access the 7-day supporter only server,
Yeah.
have some fun on that, have their perks on Darkness Falls and their perks on 7 Days Vanilla, and all the other cool stuff that'll come along with that as well. Which will be access to our Zomboid server and any other servers that we put up for people to play on.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll do some questions and answers, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
So no, what we're proposing, Warfare, is rather than having separate packs for all the games. So you want to support us on 7 days, you buy this one. You want to support us on ARC, you buy this one. You just buy a tier 1 supporter pack, and that gives you access to everything. It's the multi-passes will disappear. The new packs, we've yet to finalize what the pricing will be, but my initial take is the tier 3, which is the lowest level one.
Yeah.
Will be like maybe a quid 50 more. Then the middle tier may go up by £1, and the top tier will stay the same.
Yeah. This, by the way, Warfare, is a direct result of the conversation we had the other day. I heard you were right. So I think this is a way to play multiple games, be able to take a break from some of the longer games like ARC, and then play something else for a bit, and then go back without having to... Yeah. Nolly does listen.
So the other thing we'll be doing as well is, for anybody where there's a price change on a pack, Anybody that's currently supporting us, say on a gamma rank arc, they can stay on that for as long as they want and keep paying the lesser price if that price goes up. But we've yet to decide that.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody will pay us more than they're currently paying now unless they choose to.
Yeah.
If they choose to, then they move on to the new version of the world, which is here's one supporter pack, gives you access to everything, plus the extra servers that we're going to spin up, plus the supporter servers, and you get your perks across all games.
Yeah, totally. Told
So
you it'd be
looking
good news
forward to
tonight.
that. Somebody else had a question. I said Q&A at the end, please. Yes, Savage. So last week I talked about setting up a crossplay server that was no mods, plugins only. I have that on my list of things I want to do, but I want to do it after we've added the new docs server. We've launched FuelJur. I've launched the help menu for docs as well to explain people how to play better on docs initially. Also, we want to do the pack stuff to support packs, and also finish sorting out 7 days. At that point, we'll have space for more servers, and then also we've obviously got a little Zomboid server running in the background, and other stuff can start being launched. Will the propagator price be lowered? No. Quite simply because we've had several instances of this where even now the propagator causes us problems. The only reason the price is high at the moment, well, it's not really that high if you're killing bosses. In fact, it's not high at all if you're murdering bosses, because you get thousands of shards from bosses. You can get like 20, 30k easily. But the problem with the propagator is it ejects eggs, and it keeps ejecting eggs, and it doesn't stop ejecting eggs, and those eggs just sit in the world, and then they hatch, and yeah, it's a nightmare.
Literally 2 or 3 days ago, I pulled 150 tech rexes out of the mesh. Probably the same in eggs, from 2 propagators running full tilt, who the player had either left or just unattended, and it brought the server to its knees. If it was to be made a lot cheaper, that's going to quadruple the problem, probably more.
So the price of the propagator is high until I can finish rebuilding our mod and then mod the propagator so that to remove the option
Yes,
to auto eject eggs.
yes. Now again, just to recap, the problem with this and suggestions that are to go into the mod is DJ is currently rebuilding the WickedNinjaGames mod because we had an issue with backup servers and things like that and lost the original to it. So until that is complete, there will be no more modding of the WNG mod. He's working full time on it, and it takes a lot of time. So we're catching up at the moment. It will happen.
Yeah, for those that you don't know, my computer had an absolute shit fit and blew up a little while back. And while I was rebuilding it, I copied everything on my computer over to my network storage. And Sod's Law, Murphy's Law, whatever you want to call it, my network storage then blew up as well. So I lost all my backups and my originals. And it's ridiculous. My network storage has got like 4 terabyte drives in it. It's a proper built NAS. And the file system just went to shit and I lost it all.
Yeah.
So that meant I lost the original source code for our mod. And fortunately, I document everything I do. So I can rebuild it, but I've been starting from pretty much scratch.
And for those of you who are currently thinking, because I know you are, well, why didn't you back it up to somewhere decent? It was a RAID 5 server. It should not have died like that. It's just
it's literally walked in the morning thinking, okay, cool, I'll copy everything back today because that's my job to do. And the whole file system had gone. to shit. So I lost 2 copies of, well, 2 separate physical locations went at the same time.
Yeah.
Fucking shit happens.
Lightning struck about 5 times at once that night. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, GitHub does have private repos, and I think they're paid for. Not sure. But I use GitHub for work. So no reason why I shouldn't have used it for the mod as well, because the dev kit does integrate with GitHub.
It's another one of those things with hindsight.
No, boats, mods, nope. Nope. Not happening.
It's too big. Way too big.
Yeah.
It's great on docs because docs is quite small compared to the main cluster. If you think loading times are bad now on the main cluster, you'll give up. And yes, we do have a few types of boats, and you can build some really crazy boats off rafts. As much as pirates are fun. Any more? That's the beauty of the new ranking system, though, Warfare. There won't be alphas, there won't be home cooked. There will be tier 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Everybody will be the same.
Call you half-baked.
It might help us with Facebook as well. We had a funny story there, didn't we? We were trying to put some stuff on Facebook regarding 7 days, and Facebook instantly picked up on the fact that we had home cooked, fast food, and basically they flagged us for selling meat products.
Yeah, raw meat
which was hilarious.
I think it was. The other time as well, I tried to post a picture of one of the 7 days ranks, and it got blocked as pornography because too much meat was exposed.
You can't make it up, but yeah, it happened.
The AI went, no.
The stuff you have to deal with. It's like we're like there's zombies everywhere. There's nothing to do with kebabs and But hey, yes, you did warn us not to put meat on the internet. Yes.
Anyways,
we're
unless
just
there's
over an
any more
hour now, so yeah, I think we should.
I think we're due to wrap.
We are indeed. So we have been the Wicked Ninjas. It's been a long one today, but there's been a lot to go through. Please leave us some suggestions in the dojo if you guys want to add anything to this, and I will get the video up on YouTube very shortly after we've finished. So you have all been awesome. Good night, guys. And no worries, Warfare. We listen.
Yeah. End event.
Good night.